What's going on, everybody? My name is Zach Hartley and welcome back to another weekly watch list video. We had a lot happen this week. We had a lot of different big events that we can trade on, and so in this video I want to give you an update on my portfolio. I want to take a look at how the market is doing, and then I want to take a look at a couple of stocks that are moving pretty big this week based on those events. And so let's jump right in. Okay, first of all, I took a couple of positions this week. I took positions in Drone Delivery Canada. I'm in at 25 cents. And I also took a position in Palo Alto Networks. I pointed this stock out on my watch list last week. We were doing great on Palo Alto Networks, and then it came back on Friday. I'm going to show you that chart in just one second. FLT I made a video about just a few days ago, so check that out if you're interested. And then Tesla is actually down since I got in. Coursera still doing pretty good. The NASDAQ, though, is starting to show some signs that we are started to go in a bearish trend or a downward trend. And so I am actually going to be moving all of my stop losses up and trying to protect myself a little bit, because as you can see, we have set 3 consecutive lower highs. We pulled back on Thursday and Friday. We are setting lower and lower lows, and we have just broken down through our support level that was right here. And so we have a lot of bearish indications on the NASDAQ. We also have a lot of bearish indications on S&P 500, pretty much the exact same ones. Consecutively lower highs, a breakdown of support, crossing below our moving averages, crossing below support. Not a good sign here. And the Dow Jones looks almost identical. We do have one key level of support right around 32,000, maybe 800 here, but we're going to have to see, or 32,586. But we're going to have to wait and just sort of see if this holds up, because it could very easily go either way. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin, we also had a bit of a rough week, but on Thursday and Friday, the price, or actually I guess on Friday and Saturday, the price actually has gone up a little bit. And so that is good to see. You could say we're starting to form a bit of a bullish trend here with 3 consecutive lower highs. So we are starting to see some possible positive indications in the price of Bitcoin. When it comes to the price of oil, though, it's been a pretty treacherous last sort of 2 weeks here. We fell from 95 down to 82.5, but on Friday we had a big white day, or a big green day right here, and the price actually went up, probably due to the conflict that we're seeing in the Middle East. When it comes to lithium prices, though, we are still hovering around those basically 1 to 2 year lows. Things aren't looking good for lithium carbonate, but I continue to watch it because I want to get in when the prices are depressed and it's starting to go back up. Now, when it comes to earnings, we are pretty much in the middle of earnings week right now. The big banks kicked it off at the end of last week, and the results were actually really good. JP Morgan and a couple of the other banks reported some really good news, and so that was good to see. It looks like it could be a good start to earnings week. We got a couple more banks reporting on Monday and Tuesday. We also have Lockheed Martin and a couple of other defense companies reporting this week. On Wednesday, we've got Tesla. On Thursday, we've got AT&T and some of the airlines and TSMC. And then on Friday, we've got kind of a mix of everybody. And so we are in the middle of earnings week. We're going to be in this, or earnings season, and we're going to be in this for probably another 2 weeks after this. When it comes to market conditions, though, we got a lot of things that just happened. Number one, and probably the most important here, is that U.S. inflation held steady at 3.7% for 2 months, August and September. That's the latest information that we have. We're halfway through October. We just got September's number. And that is not good, because it was as low as 3%, and then I think it went 3.2%, 3.7%, and 3.7%. And so inflation is actually going back up when the Federal Reserve is trying to make it go down to 2%. And so what that means is that we are probably going to see an interest rate hike from the Federal Reserve on November 1st. I'm actually sort of expecting the same thing for the Bank of Canada on October 25th. So those changes and those announcements are coming up pretty soon. Interest rates are also starting to expect that, or mortgage brokers are starting to expect that. And so I have seen some mortgage rates start to approach 8% in the United States, which is pretty scary. And a lot of people are expecting that, like I said, the Fed and the Bank of Canada are going to increase rates. And what that has done, though, is that has driven up bond yields. And what that means is that the older bonds that are a couple years old, let's say a 10-year bond, for instance, it has a very unattractive yield now, because you can get such a nice yield just buying brand new bonds. And so it has reduced the value of those bonds pretty dramatically. And it's kind of scary what is happening in the bond market. And it also makes the stock market look really unattractive, because if you can go out and you can buy a dividend stock that's giving you 3%, Well, that's great, but you have the market volatility of a company and you're still only getting 3% dividend. Why would you do that if you can go to the bond market and get 5% guaranteed with no fluctuation? It just becomes a much more appealing and attractive option when bond yields are high compared to stocks, and so it puts more pressure on the stock market. Now, with all of that said, we do have some stocks that are approaching all-time highs. Palo Alto Networks is one of them. This is the chart that I showed you last week, and I said, hey, we're going to break out of this trend line here. We're going to push to all-time highs, and that is exactly what happened on Friday. We set a new all-time high. I got into the position, I want to say on Tuesday. Yeah, right here, this green day. And then we pulled back a little bit. And so I think I'm only up like 1% maybe on Palo Alto Networks. And I'm a little bit concerned about it because of what I have found in the research here today with regards to our major indices. It looks like they're really starting to go in a bullish direction. So like I said, I'm tightening that stop loss. I'm a little concerned about this position, but I want to give you that transparency. Lockheed Martin here though. We are seeing a huge conflict all around the world with Russia, Ukraine, with what's happening in Israel. I don't want to share an opinion on it, but what I want to do say is that this increasing conflict makes defense companies usually more attractive because it means that they're going to get larger and larger contracts, which means they're going to make more and more money. And so Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman are two companies that I want to point out today. Lockheed Martin, as you can see, is bouncing off a major level of support right here around $400. It looks interesting to me. It's starting to break out of different levels. It's breaking out above our moving averages. And if you want to try and just find an opportunity in this market, it looks like Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman are getting a lot of attention right now. You can see Northrop Grumman was trading within a channel for pretty much the better part of the entire year, and now the stock bounced off the same level of support like 4 times, broke out, and continues to run. And so this is one of those plays where like there's a catalyst in the world. There's some companies that are going to do well. There's some companies that are going to do poor. And if you buy the companies that are going to do well because of what's happening in the world, you might be able to make some money. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good or bad ethics either. I'm just pointing this out because these stocks are moving a lot more than a lot of the other industries that we are looking at. One company, though, that I find very interesting right now that I'm going to do a little more research on is Sphere Entertainment. This is the company that basically built that Sphere in Las Vegas, where you're seeing all the crazy advertisements on the outside and you're seeing all the amazing shows on the inside. Really, really cool company. Really, really high valuation, and that's probably the reason the stock has fallen from $121 in pretty much a straight line all the way down to $20 at a low, currently trading at about $35. And so we are in a very long-term bearish pattern here, but when you start to zoom in, you can see that the stock actually went from $20 all the way up above $40, 100% gain. And so we're starting to see some mixed signals here where the stock has had a pretty amazing, actually, bullish run here from 20 all the way to 40. Now it's pulled back to 35. I am watching this level real closely to see if 35 acts as support, because if it doesn't, we'll be breaking down through both our previous support as well as this trend line, which would be a strong bearish indication. And so I may want to go short on it back down to 20 and then try and buy in off of support or based on what happens here. So I'm watching this one closely. If it bounces off at 35 and it breaks out through this trend, could be a great opportunity to get in. I'm going to do some more research on this company. So if you want to see a full video breakdown, check out my YouTube channel and make sure you are subscribed. Now, the last one I want to point out here is Alibaba. This is a company where I've had some mixed results over the last few years, but as you can see, we've got some major support right around $77 to $80 right here. Stock bounced off in March of this year. Stock bounced off twice in May and June, and it is bouncing off again right now in October. And so I am watching this one closely. If $80 holds up as support, you could get in at a very nice entry point and play it back up to at least 100. Now, if you want to learn more about how to actually execute those trades and place the order, definitely check out my totally free courses on Skillshare. When you sign up with the link in the description, you get a 1-month free trial to take any course you want. I've got courses on day trading, options, dividend investing, and basically a stock market fundamentals course that will walk you through step by step everything you need to know. So if you know anybody that might be interested in that, please share the link with them. If you are interested in anything more advanced, you will find everything in there. And thank you guys for watching till the end. See you in the next video. Good luck trading, good luck investing, and we'll talk to you soon.